Hi, I'm Stephanie Carter Kelly, yoga physical therapist. One of the main complaints I get in class is wrist pain, especially during downward dog. But also I can see people grabbing their wrists when they're on hands and knees. So here are a few tips to help you on your hands and knees and in downward dog to alleviate wrist pain or wrist strain. One of the reasons we have wrist pain is because we really are in this keyboarding mode a lot throughout the day. So when we get our fingers curved, then it tightens all these muscles on the underside of the forearm. So going into the all fours position or into downward dog puts a nice long stretch on both the finger flexors that attach up into the forearm. So it's good to do these poses, but yes, it can be painful when you're new to yoga or if you're not really doing it correctly. So one of the things I tell people on all fours is if you'll notice you're in a right angle, your hand to forearm orientation is a right angle. And that's a lot of strain or stretch on those finger flexors and also on the wrist joint. So if there's any pain in the on all fours position, I just tell people to crawl their fingers forward a little bit so they have less of that right angle. So here's where you were. If you sit back, knees under hips, and you just move your hands forward a little bit, that may relieve some of the pain. In progressing then to downward dog, I want you to really look at the palm of your hand. And most of the people take the weight at the base of their hand, closest to the wrist. I want you to think about taking some weight at the base of the fingers, where those fingers connect into the palm of the hand. You'll notice that curved, raised surface with a depression right in the center. If you can really work to get all of your weight on the whole palm of your hand, just as much on the base of the fingers as you do at the wrist. The other thing is while you're in downward dog, the motion that you want to create at your wrist is flexion. You won't get that motion, but you'll be pushing into the ground. And so that motion of pushing down into flexion forces your weight back into your legs. We want to take as much weight into our legs in downward dog because that's what's strongest. So if you start in that position, toes are tucked, a little bit of arch in the back, walk those hands out just slightly. First thing I tell people to do is to spread their fingers nice and wide so that that middle finger is going towards the short end of the mat. Spread the fingers, put some weight into the base of the fingers rather than just at the wrist. Pushing into the hands first, take the weight back to the legs. Now you'll notice already that I no longer have such an acute angle of my wrist to forearm. So take that weight back. I know everybody wants to get their legs straight in downward dog, but just keep the knees bent to really develop the strength in the wrists. The elbows go straight. The shoulder blades reach up to the top of the torso, and just keep those legs nice and bent until you can elongate from the wrist all the way back to the hips. Make sure you have a little lift of the tailbone and keep working, trying to push into those knees, push down into those heels until you feel like you're nice and elongated. Don't think you have to go right into that position first. So those are some tips to help relieve the strain on your wrists when you're on all fours and in downward dog. Visit StephanieCarterKelly.com for more information about Yoga Physical Therapist.